We got Kurt Holobaugh back here on the program. He's going to be taking on Thiago Moises coming up here at UFC 237 on May 11th. Kurt, how are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me back on the show.
Of course. It's always good catching up with you. First time going to Brazil. We were talking about this off air. Are you excited? Are you kind of like, man, I'd like another fight in the U.S.? What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I'm not much of one to go out of the country. I don't get really too pumped and excited, but the cool thing about this is I'm finally going back up to 155 pounds where I don't think it's going to be a miserable plane ride overseas. And it's in my coach's hometown. He's basically calling in his backyard. Rafael Elwanger, my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach. I think it's a few miles from where he grew up. So he's excited, I'm excited, and I think it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a great opportunity here. Now, did you talk to him about like what it's like going down there and all that? Because I know sometimes the conditions, you never know. Things are a little bit different than the U.S.
Yeah, a little bit. He goes pretty regularly. So I think he just wanted to go maybe a little bit earlier. So I think we're actually going to leave, I think Saturday is the 4th. So we're going to leave on Saturday and I think come back on Tuesday. So we're going to get down there probably 2 or 3 days earlier than what the UFC would normally bring you down to wherever you're going to fight. And, enjoy some time there, final preparations and, going from there.
You mentioned, your team. What about the corner situation? I know sometimes they only let you bring one corner. Is that the case in this fight?
What the thing about the UFC is they only pay for one corner. You can bring, they'll deduct up to 2 extra cornermen out of your purse. And, I like my cornermen there. So I went ahead and done that. I got all 3 of my cornermen there, Rafael Elwanger, Jimmy Mills, and Scott Smith. These are the guys that pretty much have gotten me to where I am today. They're always in my corner, and, it's a blessing to have those guys with me. It always makes me feel more comfortable.
Now, you mentioned that they're moving up to 55. Was this a decision you made right after your last fight, or was this because of this fight being in Brazil? What was sort of the reason?
To be honest with you, it's been a decision since the Russia fight. After I fought Ferdinand Kaspalayev, I said I would not go back to 145 pounds. And then, I went on to Titan and fought a couple of guys there at 155 pounds, got on a run. And then I just got the offer for the Contender Series at 145 pounds. And it's a tough weight cut, but, I sucked it up and I did what I had to do to get back in the UFC and even still fought the last 2 fights in the UFC at 145 pounds. And, I just figured it's time to stop cutting so much weight and stop putting all my focus on the weight cut. And let's go back to 155 pounds to where I've always had amazing fights. I have one loss at 155 pounds, and that's to Pat Healy when he was the Strikeforce #1 contender back in 2013 when he was supposed to fight Gilbert Melendez. And I think that's a fight I could have won if I would have just been a little bit more educated in the MMA game back then. I was still young in the sport and made a lot of mistakes. So I feel good going back to 155 pounds. It's nothing new to me. I think it's my natural weight class, and I think that's where I was meant to fight.
Let's talk about your last fight quickly. It was very entertaining. You and Shane Burgos. It looked like you were going to finish him, and then I think most people just say it was sort of a mistake there. Is that how you look at the fight? Like, is that really what you take away from that performance, or is there anything else we're missing in that matchup?
No, it was a huge mistake, and that just goes to show you the levels of these guys that we're competing against in the UFC. You can't slip up and make one simple mistake like that, or it can cost you the match. And that's exactly what happened. I thought I felt great coming out. I felt great on the feet. I felt that I was landing punches. And then, of course, when I dropped him, I kind of got too excited. And, I got a lot of killer instinct. That's just me. So I'm always trying to kill a guy. And, I made a mistake and I paid the price.
Do you take the positives away, though, that you nearly finished him? And Shane's a really durable guy. So, I mean, if I'm just looking at this from a third party, I think that's something that you could take away as a positive.
Yeah, most definitely. Everybody, knows Shane Burgos. And now he's set to fight, I think, number 8 ranked Cub Swanson. So
yeah.
that goes to show you right there, what happens if I win that fight? Do I get to fight number 8 ranked Cub Swanson? So that just shows exactly where I'm at in the game, and I can very easily be a ranked fighter. I just got to quit making these mistakes and go out there and fight how I fight.
Were you ever worried that they might cut you? Sometimes we've seen in the past UFC, no matter what type of style you have, they'll just get rid of a guy, but they kept you on. Was that going through your head after the loss to Burgos?
Absolutely. It went through my head after I lost to Honey Barcelos because, if you go look back at 2013, after it was a great fight against Steven Siler. I didn't have a doubt that I would get cut, but, after one fight, the UFC can do what they want. So, they cut me then. So right after this, um, a crazy thing, I seen Sean Shelby in the elevator after, the Barcelos fight, and I felt comfortable up until then, and he just kind of told me, congratulations, I got fight of the night, but save my money. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, I hope that doesn't mean, that I'm going to get cut after this one fight, man, because I actually was studying some film and watching those fights last night, and man, they're great fights. Like um, against Barcelos was a great fight, and it definitely explains why we got fight of the night. But and then after, I think it was just they seen what I or maybe my potential. They see what I can do. I just got to quit making mistakes, and you know, they gave me a third chance. I feel very fortunate and lucky for that. So now I got to go out there and I got to prove a point.
So what do you think he meant by saying save your money then? Do you think you were going to get cut then and there, or do you think he's just trying to be a financial
Man.
planner on top of a matchmaker?
No, which then I heard, I'm like, yeah, Sean Shelby, sometimes he'll joke a little bit. So I'm like, all right. And then, I got the fight from Madison Square Garden. So I'm like, all right, I'm cool. And then even after that fight, I'm like, man, I done messed up again. Um, and then, I got word from my manager, Brian Hamper at Sucker Punch, that he's like, um, Sean said he loves the way you fight, so he's not going to cut you, but you have to win this next fight. And they was even giving me an offer for what's the guy that fought Jose Aldo last? He was
Oh,
the number one
Volkanovski?
contender. No,
Oh
not
no, sorry, he fought Jose
Volkanovski.
Aldo last. Jeremy Stevens? No, it was Jeremy
No,
Stevens, and then who did he fight after that? I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember his
Oh,
name.
Moicano. Hey, not to Moicano.
Morcano. So they was calling me that, but at that time I still, I got arm barred by Burgo. It's only like 2 weeks after the fight. I had a fractured foot, my arm was hurting, and I was already back up to about 185 pounds. So I'm like, dude, there would just be no way I could take it, and I really wanted it. It crossed my mind, and I sit and I probably thought about it for 30 minutes. If I can heal my foot, make the weight, if my arm would be okay. And then my manager said, we'll go ahead and pass it up. We'll get something. He said he's not going to cut you. So I'm like, all right, I trust in these guys. They've got me where I'm at. So, I'll leave it to them. And,
It's too bad
now
though,
I just
because
got to
I
go.
covered that card live. I know that was the Toronto card, right? Because Bektic, I
Yeah.
think he was supposed to fight, so we could
Yep.
actually we could have crossed paths. But no, you made the right decision clearly because you get time off. You can go up to
Right.
55. Everything's working out well. Let's talk about Thiago Moises. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him?
Um, I don't know much about him. Just from what I've kind of been looking at lately and watching some footage on him lately. He looks like a big, strong guy. Throws a lot of heat. Throws a lot of power. He comes out in the first round throwing that big right hand a lot. Um, but I think that's the kind of guys I enjoy fighting. The guys that I don't like fighting is the dominant wrestlers that come out and just try to put me down. Which it's mixed martial arts, so there's nothing wrong with that. You got to do what you got to do to win the fight. If I was a Division 2, Division 1 wrestler, I would do the same. If I didn't prefer to stand up and show my kickboxing skills and my boxing skills. But I know he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so we'll see. I like the matchup. I don't think that I'm gonna come out and be any smaller than him, being that I'm going back up to 55 because I'm already, I think, a big 55er anyways. Um, so we'll see how it goes. I like the matchup. I think my speed and movement's gonna frustrate him a lot, and I actually think I'll wind up getting the finish.
I imagine because it seemed like this fight was kind of on short notice. You didn't get to train in California because I know last time you were at Team Alpha Male for a bit.
Yeah, I didn't get to go back and train in California. I'm just super busy here. Opened a second gym or bought a second gym.
Nice.
So I'm teaching 5 days a week, and I'm doing my morning training with our headquarters gym out in Santa with Raphael and all those guys. And I got a pretty good surrounding that I think I'm getting the proper training. I think some of the best training camps I've ever had has been when I've just trained right here at home. I think I've felt the best, and um, I'm doing some cross training. I'm going up to Mobile with my guy Jimmy Mills. He has his gym out in Mobile, Alabama. I got some guys in Baton Rouge that I work with. I just went and sparred with Brandon Davis and some of the guys in Mississippi. They're only
Nice
about an
win for
hour and a
him
half
last
away.
weekend. That was good.
Yeah, and went and, sparred with him probably about 2 weeks before that fight. So, it's good to get some work in with him. He's always right there. So it's good. I get some good sparring, man. That's only about an hour, hour and a half away. That's a very short drive to get some good training. And plus, with all of our guys here, we got like 27 gyms down here. And, every guy that's out of there is, really good. So everybody gets a lot of credit and helps me prepare. So I think I'll be fine.
We're looking forward to this fight. UFC 237, May 11th. Kurt, always appreciate you taking the time, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you have any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man. Always Facebook at Kurt Holobaugh. Just look up my name. Twitter, Kurt Holobaugh. Instagram, Kurt Holobaugh. Check me out. Give me a follow. Give me a tweet. I'll tweet you back. Let me thank my sponsors, K-Ray Construction. Yeah, these guys have been a sponsor since day one when I was fighting local show and amateur. So big thanks to those guys. And, my guy at Creole Tomato, Frank, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for sticking with me.